gentlemen, we'll get started. Some others are still coming, but we want to keep reasonably on time. I'm delighted to welcome everyone here today to USINDO's special open forum with Indonesia's Minister of Energy and Mineral Resources, His Excellency Sudirman Said. Mr. Said, we are all delighted and honored for your joining us today. I welcome also our distinguished USINDO co-chair, Ambassador Stapleton Roy, and all other members of USINDO's board of advisors, friends of Indonesia, and members of USINDO. Your turnout reflects the keen interest in Indonesia's energy and mineral resources sector, a sector which has been, since the beginning of Indonesia, and will continue to be vital for Indonesia's realizing its development objectives, and we stand with Indonesia in its realization of its development plans. Minister Said was appointed by President Jokowi last October. Before that, he managed state-owned weapons manufacturer Pindad. He was Vice President Director of an energy and natural resources company, Petrosi. Served as Director of Human Capital for Pertamina. He has a reputation for being a corruption fighter. He was co-founder of the Indonesian Transparency Community, MTI, an NGO involved in anti-corruption work. He was Deputy Chief of the highly effective Aceh Rehabilitation and Reconstruction Agency, PRR, in 2005. And importantly for us, he studied in the U.S., receiving his MBA from George Washington University in 1984, and joining the ranks of so many stellar Indonesians who have studied in the United States and returned to serve their country. Minister Said will speak on the government's program to improve the management of Indonesia's energy and mineral resources, to increase its national energy and power supplies, and to utilize new technologies such as renewable energy. This talk will be followed, as usual, by questions and answers. We hope to be an informal talk, and Mr. Said will speak from the panel. Mr. Said.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, ambassadors, good afternoon. It's an honor for me to be here to share some of the ideas, and I would like also to express my happiness to be back here in Washington, the city that I spent about 20 years ago with the GW. I have to say that USINDO has been a very important glue, important bridge for maintaining, keeping the friendship between Indonesia and the US. And I think some of you also have spent some time in Indonesia, including the ambassador, it's been very instrumental, and I think we rely on you how to create the atmosphere, positive atmosphere in terms of maintaining the friendship between these two countries. Before I come to some of the subject on the energy development, I think it's good to mention that in every historical step of Indonesia development, it always involves the educated people, those who are more lucky than others in Indonesia. And I think the US has been a traditional supplier of the cream, the educated people. And I think from 95, early 70s, 98, reform until the current situation is the US has been playing very instrumental role in providing green of Indonesia, which because of that history, I think we also share some values, including the way we manage the democracy, the way we manage the diversity, the way we manage the development of the country. And if I can share that Indonesia now is entering new dynamic, new era in which for the first time we have the president-elect coming from the regional leaders. The President Jokowi coming from the mayor and then elected as the governor and then elected as the president, which provide different perspective. In the past, the country leader was coming from the traditional elites, either from military, from the political party, or from a big family who has history. But Pak Jokowi is really ordinary man, ordinary people, which also affect the way he manage, the way he even choose the member of the cabinet. And I think I am one of the ordinary person. I was a villager. I was really nobody. I am not part of the big family. I am not part of the big organization. But just because of and even I have to say that I didn't know him until the day before announcement. So the 26th of October, it is the day I met him, and that was the first time I met him. I would like to share some of the conversation that I spent with him. So the president expressed some of the concern, including the energy management situation. As you may aware that there are many corruption cases experienced by the sector. My predecessor is now on trial. The head of the Astana Migas is in jail, and some of the energy commission members also sent to jail because of the corruption cases. We also facing the aging infrastructure, the old refinery facilities, limited gas infrastructure, limited supply on the fuel, and also declining reserve. And I think many of you are familiar with the word of mafia, and that is also the one that the president asked me, how do you settle it? How do you handle this? I said, Bapak Presiden, I believe that we have a lot of good people, good capable people. The issue is whether we have a clear and clean national leadership, because fixing the sector is not about technical, it is about the clean practice of the government. And I think it is important to have a clean and clear vision of the top leaders. And then I continue in the past, when I was in Pertamina, I served Pertamina for a while. I said, there are a lot of good initiatives which stop here. And the president asked me back, what do you mean by here? It stopped in this president office. I was kind of calling very high attention that unless the president himself to support this reform, then no matter how good minister, no matter how smart minister, it will stop, because it is about consistency, it is about the commitment, it is about the clean practice in the government. So that was my first conversation with the president, and I think that conversation also has been very strong basis to follow through the decision that coming later on. I would like to share some of the slides here, just to trigger the discussion. this is the challenge of the energy development that we are facing in Indonesia. I think the gap between demand and supply is quite clear. We consume about 1,500,000 barrel a day oil, but we only able to produce about 800. So about half of it is imported. We also have a challenging electricity ratio, which is only 84% people in Indonesia have access to electricity. We have about 24 electricity system nationwide, but only half is considered as a normal. The rest are deficit. We significantly rely on the fossil energy and underinvested on the renewable energy. We also burdened with the subsidy, which we spend about 20 billion US a year just before this government. So for the last 10 years, we spent at least 200 billion US, which huge actually to loss for development of the infrastructure. So this is the challenges that we are facing now, and what we want to achieve is what we call national energy sovereignty, or the situation in which we can fulfill our energy needs in the next 5-10 years. As I mentioned, that the lack of transparency, the corrupt practices, the unclear direction of the energy has been very much hindering the energy development. And I think what I can say to the public at the time is, first thing, we have to restore the public confidence. First thing first, we have to regain the public trust to the sector. And we established what we call reform committee, led by the prominent individual, which some of you might know the individual, Dr. Faisal Basri. We also implement the initiative to reform in terms of decision making, in terms of put more transparency, developing more clear path on the decision making process, and also setting up the performance management unit, which is meant to be reform unit within the ministry. It was really challenging because in the past there is no focus on the internal development, which the attention is really on the political aspect rather than on the professional aspect. This is something that we have to manage. As I mentioned, the electricity system, only half of the electricity system is running in the normal situation. The rest is whether it is red or yellow. And this is because for the last 10 years, we consider investment in the electricity. That's why in the next 5 years, we have to develop at least 35 gigawatt of power generation, which, if we consider the current condition, it is actually almost double with the current situation now. To do that, I think it is very challenging job, because in order to deliver the program, I think we have to work with so many institutions. We have challenge on the line acquisition, we have challenge on the licensing, we have challenge on the financing and also the capacity in terms of project management, because so far the last 10 years the electricity only grew about 2,000 megawatt a year. Now we have to build at least 7,000 megawatt a year, which is almost triple, more than triple of the current trend and development. So the other topic is about shifting from fossil energy into renewable energy, because we only have about 6% of the energy mix coming from renewable, where actually the potential is more than double of the existing capacity. Again, we have been experiencing under-investment on the renewable energy, and this is something that will need more investment. We will need regulatory reform. We also will need capacity building in terms of industry, in terms of the people capability to develop renewable energy. Our vision is to develop from 6% at the current condition into 23% in the 20 to 35, which consider coal as the 30% and then oil 25% and gas 22%. Now more than 60% coming from the fossil industry, fossil energy. It is considerably more expensive, but I think it is our vision to diversify the energy sources, because it's considered more sustainable rather than rely on the fossil industry, fossil energy. Some of the initiation is that we should establish a pilot project in Central Kalimantan. We will develop energy forest, optimizing what we call degraded land. There are 70 million hectares that lands is not maximally used, and we like to convert some of the land into the forest or bio fuel. And also we would like to establish Bali as the pilot project for island to develop the clean energy, which is we would like to convert from the heavily fuel oil into gas, into renewables, into geothermal, and also other renewable sources. Bali is considered to be the pilot project because we see Bali as the one who is visited by people both in national and also in international community. So I think that is from Bali we can also develop a center of excellence of the clean energy. Some of the issue going forward, I think, if I can conclude the remark before we have the discussion. Number one is the revision of oil and gas law, which is now we are preparing to manage the parliamentary session. Number two is the streamlining the bureaucracy, simplifying the permit issuance and also cross-ministerial coordination. And the third one is reforming bureaucracy, continue reform in terms of planning, in terms of financing, also in terms of technology acquisition and people development. And the last thing that I want to mention is we would like to mainstream the development of clean and renewable energy, because that is the one that we understand that it is sustainable in the future. And I think my visit here in the US is as a means to strengthen the relationship, the partnership with the American companies, to provide the technology, to provide the capacity to develop the energy sector in Indonesia. I think I would conclude my remark, and then we will take some questions.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you.
Questions, please. Questions or comments? Let me start out with one. Can you tell us, Mr. Minister, about where does the division of the oil and gas law stand, and what are the objectives that you seek to accomplish?
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. I think we have at least three principles to push the revision of oil and gas law. Number one, we understand that to develop oil and gas industry, we will need continued investment from local players. The law should facilitate the healthy investment climate. And number two, we would like to put the energy not only as the commodity, but also as the driver for economic development, in which we also to foster, to push the value-added creation instead of only selling the raw material. And number three, I think we also need to have a fair share in terms of sharing between government, local community, and also the industry, which is the basis of it is transparency, the basis of it is partnership, both in industry and also in government.
Come to the mic. The microphone is there.
Stay here.
Yes.
What a fascinating presentation. I'm Andre Sobajo, and I'm the partner and director for Southeast Asia and Washington, D.C. for the Interstate Traveler Company. The Interstate Traveler Company has designed, but not yet produced, a magnetic levitation, hydrogen-fueled, solar-powered train. Now, I think I'm closer than ever to getting, the company, but to getting funding for a physical prototype, because a virtual prototype will do it. But because I know that we're in discussions with the Asian Development Bank on, getting funding, but they don't do R&D funding, but once we have a physical prototype. And what you've told me is that, and I know from an earlier UCINDO meeting, that your budget has extra money for agriculture. We can help with hydroponic agriculture, and for transportation, which of course is what we are, in addition to meeting these renewable energy objectives. So, sir, could you give me some advice on who we could contact when we get close to this physical prototype? I'm working with the Federal Railroad Administration too on a project from Baltimore to Washington, D.C. So, what would your advice to start if I could start?
Pak Adida is my Director General of the Renewables, so you may keep contacting with him.
Yes. Yes, sir. Second one.
Yeah, Bill Tucker. I used to work in the legal department for an oil company, and what U.S. oil companies are in Indonesia now, and what are you doing to attract more foreign oil companies into the country? And secondly, have you discovered oil and gas in the shale formations in Indonesia?
Yes, I'm Jed Schilling with the Millennium Institute, and this is a very interesting presentation. I have two questions. As you shift to more renewables, what are the policies you'll institute for pricing to encourage people to use the renewables and partly get rid, I suppose, of the subsidies for the oil and gas-fired electricity? But this will require either pricing or other incentives to shift renewables? And as you expand renewables, have you looked into the possibility of job creation by helping establish industries in Indonesia that produce the key energy production elements that would help build and modernize your industry as well as support your renewable energy?
Ms. Patrick?
Mr. Amory Patrick with Caterpillar. In that same context, I'm curious in terms of what the government is doing for land reform or land acquisition. What type of policies are being put in place to expedite that process?
Thank you. Bill, we acknowledge that the investment climate is no longer attractive as the oil price is really not in a good shape. And the way we responded is we just established what we call National Committee for Exploration, which is avenue to review all the regulatory, all the regulation, all the incentive system, and with the understanding of how to attract more investment, especially in the exploration, because the depletion rate of the reserve has been quite significant. We only can put back the reserve 60% that we extract, and we like to invest on the exploration through reviewing the regulatory and also giving it more incentive to the investment. With regard to the shell, I think it is not our stage yet, and some of the experts said that we have also a lot of shell resources, but we are not come to the stage of development. But some research is being done to explore the opportunity. Mr. George, I think the issue of the renewable is also the issue of certainty of the policy, because people asking whether Indonesia is really consistent with the policy of pushing the renewables. That's why you are correct that the homework is how to ensure the public, how to ensure the investment. And we really serious on that matter. For the last couple of weeks, I think the President mentioned many times about the needs of development of renewables, including on the yesterday event of the inauguration of geothermal in Kamojang. Okay? And it is going to be followed by the budget restructuring. In the past, the budget allocation for renewables only about a tenth of the total, but hopefully in the future will be a dramatic change. Also, the portion is going to be much more significant. But yes, we have to follow with the policy. We have to follow with the incentive, including pricing policy. The law says that you have to reduce the consumption of oil and then also keep some of the subsidy to shift into the development of renewable energy. And then I think by next year, this implementation of law will be done, and our team is now undergoing the study to improve the regulatory framework in terms of renewable energy. Ms. Paget, I think the land acquisition is very serious issue in Indonesia, and you might aware that many power project has been delayed quite some time, and the concern is because of land acquisition. Only about 6 months ago, we issued the new law on the land acquisition for the public utilities, in which the law says that if it is land to be used for the public utilities, actually the right of the country, the right of the state to take over, and then the people has to follow the rule. But again, in the implementation, we have to deal with the local government, we have to deal with the local law enforcement, which now is still, I have to say, still many challenges. The last effort, the president is now preparing the presidential decree to coordinate between local government, central government, and also the law enforcement agency, which hopefully we can solve this issue in the future.
Bill Lightford, International Business Consultant. Minister, historically Indonesia has derived quite a bit of its currency reserves from energy exports. Looking ahead to 2025, 2030, once this plan is implemented, how do you see the change in profile of Indonesia in terms of LNG exports, oil exports, that sort of thing? And where will you derive revenue that is reduced if you are reducing energy exports?
Thank you.
So we're going to go back. We're going to collect 3 questions.
Good afternoon, I'm Samuel Steve from the Asian Development Bank. Just wanted to ask, you talked earlier about one of the challenges in the whole energy sector, the subsidies that Indonesia is taking good strides in getting rid of some subsidies. Can you tell us what the plans are for the future in continuing to remove the subsidies?
Hello, I'm Mike Ashford from Windrock International. Happy to say we have a registered office in Jakarta. We're working to support palm oil, telephones, conversion to energy successfully now in Persia. My question is, how are you prioritizing the U.S. government development agencies that can support the sector now for you, the USAID, and NCC in your near-term plans for conversion from fossil fuels to renewable energy to raise that proportion of the renewables, and if you're prioritizing that sector?
Thank you. I think we are lucky that I don't know, lucky or unlucky, because the price is for Indonesia as consuming country, I think is good, because is kept to the equilibrium, and the increasing consumption of gas will make Indonesia maybe in some time have to import the gas as well, including the LNG. No, LNG is still, we export some, but also in the future the prediction would be we could be importing some of the LNG, including from this market, and we have I think good relationship with the US market, and we will continue to develop the relationship to ensure the supply. But 2025, I think, although the objective or the target we will achieve, I think the gas role will be still quite significant, and especially when we continue developing the gas infrastructure, I think that gas consumption will be quite significant. Subsidy, Samuel, a lot of people questioning whether government will be consistent enough to apply this subsidy policy. And my answer to that question is, I think we have no choice. We have to continue implementing this policy, because just for example, this year, 2015, the first time in the history that the budget for infrastructure is almost double. And we have more opportunity to develop the irrigation, to develop the infrastructure, to develop port, road, and also housing. It is because we shift the subsidy into the more productive spending. And I think it is very fortunate that the response to the policy is quite positive. Yes, there are some protests, but I think it is manageable so far. And the last month was the second parliamentary session to discuss about the subsidy policy, which at the second session, I think they also confirmed that we will continue the fixed subsidy system, which actually institutionalizing the policy going forward. Mike, I think that is the one of the main mission why I come here to the US, because there are a lot of opportunities that we can do together. The US can support in terms of development of the renewable, including we spent some time this morning to discuss with the Office of Minister of Energy, in which we are inspired by the report, integrated report on the energy management and integration. I think that expertise we will need very much, and we will push through the relationship, inviting expertise, inviting ideas, contribution from the US. And I think through the US idea, I think we can work together.
My name is Thomas Gross. I'm an attorney in Washington, D.C. I think two important points I see here are streamlining. Sorry.
No, I was just going to ask, maybe we're a consultant on the oil and gas law, which
Who's one of the architects of the oil and gas law that was passed a number of years ago. But, two important points I see here, the streamlining the permit process and permitting bureaucracy. These are two very critical points, especially for attracting foreign investment. And what we've seen in other countries oftentimes is that these projects get hung up because of local permitting, regional permitting, federal permitting, sometimes just due to inaction, sometimes due to corruption. Could you expand a little bit how you could address this issue, what you could do, for example, providing a central place to go where investors and project sponsors can go to get government action to fix this? I know of one major project in Jakarta that was hung up for months and months trying to get a critical permit, but could not get it. And they eventually walked away after spending a lot of millions of dollars on it. So it's a critical issue for certainly foreign investment, most likely domestic investment.
Hi, Mark Allenson with Carillon Group. I was curious what type of interest there is for manufacturing of infrastructure hardware within Indonesia for domestic use.
Janet Morgenstern, Albright Stonebridge Group. I'm wondering, in your efforts to reduce reliance on fossil fuels, whether fuel efficiency standards for vehicles are on the agenda.
Hi, my name is Roland Tang. I'm with Solar City. Question, what are the government's plans as far as the use of photovoltaic energy storage and microgrid technologies for the medium and small islands in Indonesia as a way to pass the plans possible?
Rose, Professor Rose, it's my professor in TW. The second month of the government decided to establish a one-stop service from the license, which quite historical because year and year we discuss it, but we never succeed to really establish. But this is what happened. In my sector, we squeeze the electricity license from more than 150 into less than 70. But once that is shift already to the one-stop service, and then we have to deal with the regional permits, which takes more lengthy and more licensing. So the dynamic between local government and central government is still we have to manage. And what we do is we also drive the local government to establish the similar service in the level of provinces and the level of the district or kabupaten, which might need some time. In my sector, I already shift electricity, mineral, and also the oil and gas. Coming up the renewable energy, which under direction of Director General Pariga. And on the manufacturing, I think learning from the past, when we had 10,000 megawatt electricity project 10 years ago. Number one, we didn't have quite reliable power generation, which is only can perform about 60%, less than 60%. Number two, it didn't improve our national capacity because we remain as the customer. We buy the technology, we buy the goods, and then install, and then the rest is run by the foreign company. So this program, the coming program we made, we envision that the national capacity should be developed. So when we invite the partners, it is not only selected based on the price, but also the commitment to share, commitment to build the national capacity, to develop a local content. That is the intention. And I think the more the partners can offer the possibility or the opportunity to develop national capacity, this is going to be more advantage for the partner. With regard to the energy efficiency, I think you're right that we focus too much on supply side, building, developing, but we really neglect the demand side, which is the expert says that actually there is another source of energy, which is energy efficiency, and through the development of new unit under ministry, which is energy conservation. I think that initiative will be drive even in the future. The last one about the solar cell, the policy would be providing matching fund, providing investment fund for those who are willing to invest in Indonesia. So instead of only purchasing the solar cell, but we like to acquire the industry to invest in Indonesia. And we are now traveling around the world and offering the opportunity to any partners, including in the US. We just visited the solar, first solar in Arizona, and also some of the countries that would like to invest in Indonesia. And I think the more remote area, we need that technology because of concern on the national development.
My name is Anshu from American University. Minister, thank you for excellent presentation. Two quick questions. There is a general atmosphere last 2 years that Indonesia is trying to give more incentive to national companies. Is it working as a disincentive to international companies? Where do you think long-term policy directions with regard to incentivizing international companies? The second question is, what motivated Indonesia to rejoin the Organization of Petroleum Resources Countries?
Other questions? Yes, sir.
Hello, Stephen Sodders from the Junior Interstate America. I'm actually curious about the changes that might exist to local content requirements as part of the ongoing plans. If you could address just, to what degree and in what areas the local content requirements will change as the plans roll out, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Habib from AU. Personally, I don't believe on the narrow nationalism. It's historic, and Indonesia is not exception because whether it is history, whether it is current situation, whether it is future, I think no single nation can live alone. That's the philosophy, my philosophy. And why it sounds like giving incentive for national and providing more opportunity. It's just because of what I call fair share. It has been quite long that we, as a nation, that providing natural resources is only treated as the what you call project. So company come to Indonesia and then extract the natural resources and then leave the region just like when they started. So I think it is only logical that even to sustain the global investment, I think we have to also empower national capacity. And I believe that the incentive should be not based on the compliance, but based on the economic motive. If we use more local content, I think the economic will be more competitive. Then that is the sustainable approach in pushing the local content. And why we join OPEC, it is very simple analogy. Indonesia, I like to put simple analogy. In the past, we are the owner of paddy field as well as the rice shop, right? And then because of the development, our paddy field is getting shortage. And then we only have a rice shop. Then it is only logical if we have a good relationship with the owner of paddy field, so that the supply and demand can be bridged. And I think as one of the largest consuming country, I think it's good to have to be in the circle and hope that there will be benefit, at least understanding the context, understanding the dynamics, understanding the direction of the producing countries. And also, with respect to the development of renewables, we as consuming countries as well as producing, I think we can bridge these two parts of the world. To what extent the local content will be developed? I think what I said, that it has to be based on the economic motive rather than compliance. What we do is let's assess what is the best equilibrium between local and global content. Then what we can develop it, what we are strong in developing the local content. And we don't want to approach this policy by kind of pushing with only the obligation, but also the logical calculation. And I think it is the business to business decision. Just for example, in oil and gas, I think we have at least 5 components that already can be produced in Indonesia. Then we push that through instead of covering too many items. That's more or less on the local content policy.
I have a couple questions. I haven't heard much lately about the role of the National Gas Company, PGN, investment. And there was a conference recently, and apparently there's a huge role for foreign investment, public-private partnerships, renewable energy. To what extent do you see that as a driver of renewable energy?
PGN remain as the public company. Yes, the majority of shares owned by the state, but it will behave as the public company, which need to be more transparent with the professional system. And it is going to be interesting dynamic between PGN and Pertamina in terms of gas development. But the idea is to have what we call gas aggregator, which will make more efficient supply chain. Will make a healthy market in terms of pricing policy allocation. With regard to the investment on the renewable, I think what we are seeing in the future is we understand that the technology is still very early in Indonesia. And to speed up the development, I think we have to acquire technology. And it is our intention to put some money for seed fund to be kind of investment fund, and then inviting whether through state-owned companies or private company, but it should be the partnership with public and private. And government spending is only limited, but if you put as the corporate fund, then there is an opportunity to leverage and then get more funding to invest.
Others? Yes? Take a few more.
My name is Barbara Bramble. I'm with the National Wildlife Federation. And I have a question about the microgrid mentioned in your slides. It's a very interesting approach that you've outlined. It's quite encouraging to many of us in environmental organizations. Your entire approach to a practical way to move toward renewable energy. And my organization is part of something called Sustainable Energy for All at the United Nations. And there's an entire group there working on microgrid systems. It's not my particular field, but I wanted to make sure that I understood where your status is. Do you need to create a new law or set regulations to enable microgrid development? Because there's so many different islands and so many really complex interrelationships among the grids you must already have. I was wondering if you need a whole new set of laws and regulations, because if so, I'm sure there's expertise that could be helpful in this microgrid group at the UN Sustainable Energy for All. I can kind of make that connection. It's useful.
Perhaps the last question is,
I was wondering also if the minister could comment on the upcoming trip of President Jokowi and expectations there.
Thank you. Barbara, I don't know whether we have to revise the law, but yes, there will be two groups of development. One is national grid, which is consists of big islands, and the other one is a remote area, which is maybe we need to be more centralized. And maybe Parido or Pavili can add on whether we need some, but we do need the experience, we do need the expertise that may contribute to the development of this local. And I think the notion of energy for sustainable energy for all, I think we pretty much support it and will be part of the initiative. But if I can be the special law in the local view.
Yeah, just to add information from the minister, I think we don't have to establish a special law for that kind of activity. The current regulation is already not established. So what we did so far is from our budget, from government budget, we built this 15 Asian automated away from the PLN. So hoping that someday this group of microgrid become mining grid and then come into the national grid. Thank you.
On the presidency visit to the US, I think my sector, the energy and mineral resources, has been a traditional partnership with the many US companies in oil and gas and energy and also mineral resources. And I think one of the agenda is how to strengthen the relationship between two countries in terms of developing this sector. And we spent some time this morning with the Office of Department of Energy to lay out the agenda. And also, of course, Mr. Ambassador of Indonesia will be the contact person to further develop the items with their developers. I myself really hope that the strengthening the relationship between two countries is really one of the main agendas, because the energy development, the infrastructure development, also mineral development is very much have a great portion doing with the US companies in Indonesia. So hopefully in October we can have a clear agenda and then we can share with the public as well. So let me close with the introduction. I'm traveling with Pak Rida Mulyana, which is Director General of the Renewable Energy and Energy Conservation. Also Pak Willy, Dr. Willy is the Special Task Force for Renewable Energy Development. And also Rizal Juendra, my special staff, and Sus, the head of legal affairs. I really appreciate for this opportunity, Mr. Ambassador, and I look forward to continue the dialogue with Indonesia and US, and we'll be happy to keep communicating with all the US community. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr.
Detailed studies of sectors like renewable energy in China and other countries, so check our website if you'd like to find out more information. Because it's a very useful tool to look at the effects of different policies over 20 years, based very much on country-specific information, and after model as much as apply lines. It's very transparent to measure the results of the and see what possible synergies and feedback, because various things look good if you just look at the sector, but if you look downstream, you might get pollution. We've done some work in Indonesia before, so some basic